the ones that I'm looking for, and these aren't necessarily the only ones that do well, the ones that I'm looking for and are looking at, I guess they're the ones that allow people to use them as a form of expression. If you buy a squiggly line or a rock, and mind you, both of those things did really, really, really well, they're not necessarily a form of expression. They can do really well, but the ones I'm looking at are the ones where two things, they have communities around them and they have that form of expression. So Degen Apes, why did that blow up? And that was the one on Solana. CryptoPunks, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. What do they all have in common? Well, one, they all have communities, and some of them have exclusive communities to the people that buy them. And two, every single one of them has been used as a profile picture. On their Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. It's a form of expression. So what I want to do now is share my NFT story and hopefully share a couple of lessons along the way. Again, I'm a baby in this space. I think honestly, most people probably are, because it's still quite a new thing, but I thought I'd sort of share what I did. Now, if I go back to my screen here, you can see my screen. The first thing I did was I went to nftcalendar.io, and essentially it's a calendar for NFT drops. Now, at this juncture, I should mention that there are two ways you can buy NFTs. One is when they're first released, or the technical term is they're minted via a drop, of course. Or you can go onto the secondary market like Rarible or OpenSea. So anyway, I went onto this website here, nftcalendar.io, and then I started looking at all these NFTs, and I sort of had my own thesis in mind, right? So you have your own rules. I'm like, okay, I want something that A, looks cool, right? It looks cool. Does it actually look something I would like to have? B, does it have a community behind it? And C, can I use it as a form of expression? So I'm looking on my screen here. There's this punk circuit one. It just looks like a ripoff of CryptoPunks. And then I found this one called the Raccon Secret Society, right? So then I looked at these guys, and you can see on my screen here, these raccoons, they're all dressed in, they have all these different I guess features and attributes that make them more rare or common than others. And then what I sort of did is I sort of looked at, just not the tokenomics, but I guess the fundamentals behind it. So they're going to have 10,000 NFTs. Awesome. The minting price is 0.02 ETH. So, okay, that's, affordable. And then I looked at their Twitter and Discord, and I found that their Twitter at the time had, 7.4 thousand. This is out of date now. It's much higher. It's almost 10,000. But their Twitter had 7.4 thousand followers, and the Discord had 1,800. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This thing hasn't really launched yet, hasn't really taken off yet. I jumped into the Discord group. I probably wasted 5-6 hours of my life the last Friday night set. Probably altogether I've wasted about 10 hours of my life, or invested 10 hours of my life, depends on whether you ask me or my wife. And then I essentially, waited for, and obviously I'm showing the website here. I went on the website and I could initiate the mint from there. Now, obviously you can't do that now because they're sold out. And then I bought myself a series of 10 raccoons, right? So you can see this on my screen here. There's this one with an eye patch and a hat, etc., etc. There's this one with alien eyes or spider eyes, and then I've got this one here, right? That has it almost looks like an Illuminati eye in its head, and that is called a harbinger, right? So out of the 10,000 that they have 1,000 that are harbingers, and if you combine 3 of them together, you can mint an angel. Anyway, why am I mentioning all this? Well, what I was actually looking at, this was appealing to me because they have these special attributes. There's a scarcity factor. There is a reason for these to exist in the ecosystem. And now just looking at, now again, this is just a day and a half old. I'm on their profile page on the OpenSea website. You can see they've got the 10,000 items there, 2.3 thousand owners. The floor price is 0.02. So that means what is, the minimal price that you could buy. Now this price is still close to, it is the mint price, but they've had 92 ETH traded, so almost 100 ETH traded in a space of a day and a half, which is insane. Now the last thing I'll sort of show you here is, I've just sorted from highest last sale. This one here went for, the last sale was 3.8 ETH. So some lucky person bought it for 0.02 ETH and flipped it for 3.8 ETH. This one here flipped for 3 ETH. My whole aim is to hold them for a little bit. wait for because you have to realize too is a lot of the ones that are now killing it, they didn't start at a very, very high level. They didn't start with the groups and the communities. So compared to other launches, from what I've heard from other people and people I've asked in Discord groups, they think it looks pretty well. Like it's a very strong start. And not to mention the artistry behind it, the artists behind it. It looks kind of cool. It looks like something is cool enough to put on your display picture, and I did. So that's kind of my, I guess, baby steps into NFTs, and I sort of wanted to share. But when you sort of understand the dynamics behind it, the groups behind it, when you jump into the communities, and again, it took me 10 hours of my life, you can understand why these things will do well.